I hope everyone. Let's move this. I hope everyone had. Wow, it's later than a whole lot later than I wanted it to be. Let's cut this on. All right. I hope everyone is good. It sounds like the news of the day is the Ukrainian president said the Ukraine won't join NATO, right? And then it sounds like Russia said that they'll spend $9 billion to reopen kind of like stuff that was closed. I think that means internally and not externally. 9 billion. But that to me sounds like there's an agreement. There's an agreement, and I think the agreement is you don't join NATO. You don't have to de-arm, right? You say the places that we're fighting already is Russian. Say that's ours, and we'll call it square, or we're gonna do this thing. And I think he's gonna take that deal, but he shouldn't take that deal. This destroys Russia. He should be like, no, fuck you. If Russia absorbs Ukraine, it's the end of Russia. They can't win. If he capitulates, he saves Russia. It's that simple. If he capitulates, he saves Russia. Ukraine will not join NATO, says Zelensky, as shelling of Kiev continues. Now, mind you, this might change. This might change. It very well may. It very well may. Excuse me. Whew. Um, it's crazy. I just had two big ass cups of my flag, two giant cups of tea. Um, and like I said, you're tired. I'm tired because I haven't spoken to anyone all day. The only people I speak to is you, lovely people. I text other than that, right? Yeah, excuse me. My eyes are a little watery now because of the yawning. Woo. So, talking to you sort of, I need to sort of get into a groove of speaking and yawning and breathing. Oh, Lord. So yeah, I don't think he's. I think that they're going to take that deal. I personally, I think. What do I know? I think the deal's a bad deal. Um, because in 10 years he can do this shit again, right? Uh, who is he to dictate what you can do with your country? It's a bad precedent. They kidnapped the mayor. What happened to that guy? They killed pregnant women and children at a fucking women's hospital. So, so, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that's it. That is really it. Everything goes back to normal. I mean, they threw a lot of freaking sanctions and firepower into the mix in like 2 weeks. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. If a black nation needed help like that, would the world have reacted like this? I don't think so. Meanwhile, the Saudi Arabians told us to go fuck ourselves. We should remember that. Second question is, why are you so completely in bed with the Russians in the first place? I don't even know, man. Right? It's an open secret that Americans or the West love money and can be bribed, right? So when you come with your super deep pockets of state money from foreign agents and you let them buy soccer clubs and baseball teams and start banks and all this shit, like I said, there are people in this country in the West who should be classified as traitors. I mean, I take 100 billion of your rubles and convert it to what, 70 billion in cash, 70 billion American dollars. You know what I mean? It's just like wow. People are quitting full time jobs for contract work and making six figures. I'm sure some people are, but not a lot of people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Brian, good to see you in the chat. I hope all is well. Uh, why they so embedded in our system, right? And now they'll see what you did this time, and then they'll have workarounds for it the next time. So sanctions won't work. China was like, "Oh, wow, I'm glad this wasn't us. How can we avoid that when we invade, Taiwan, which is looks like it's coming." That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Yeah, what is it? 7 o'clock? Yeah. Oh, I should have hit this. I didn't hit this. So, and I think we called it. I think we've been calling it for 10 days. We were like, once the Russians stop goofing around and wake the fuck up, they're gonna bring the pain because they have a competent army, right? Now, what you can do is what the Iraqis did and just lay waste to them as they move from point A to point B for as long as they're in the country, right? You can just get a running insurgency in Europe, but Europe doesn't want that because then you got essentially Iraq in Europe training fighters, and then those fighters will go back to wherever they came from in Europe after fighting the Russians, and then they're already disagreeable and willing to kill, and now they're living in France and Britain and Germany and Norway. They don't want that. So I mean, yeah. Return to the office, not in this housing market. I don't understand what that means. Um, the housing market is. I mean, and here's a couple of things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. They're talking to a lot of Russian soldiers, and normally you don't do that without the right. But they're not part of NATO. Are they a signatory of the Geneva Convention? I don't even know. But you're not supposed to be carting these guys out in front of the cameras, asking them questions, and asking them to say that your country sucks. Oh, why did they even send us here? Oh, boy, do we suck. Oh, man, I'm really sorry that we came here, people. Oh, you seem like really nice people. Oh, all that shit is giving aid and comfort to the enemy. You're not supposed to be doing it. And you're not supposed to drag people out in front of a camera and have them do it. So, it is what it is, man. LA County to pay 3.8 million in death of a man shocked with taser. Proud Boys Enrico Tarry is a danger to the community for the January 6th riots. Okay, first of all, let's read one of these. We can't read it because it's behind the paywall. We can look it up though. Can't read this one either. It's also behind the paywall. All right, we can look it up. Got the TV on in the other room. There's crooning going on. What's this title? Okay, that's one. And what is this one? Uh, Proud Boy. right? So I type in the exact title so I can read the story down versus just Google searching the incident. For some reason with Apple, I mean, it doesn't give you all the stories unless so you gotta. Well, this is Newsweek. This should not be that hard to find. Why is this so hard to find? Political, Wall Street Journal, NPR, BuzzFeed, Washington Post, USA, New York Times. Wow, really? I can't find this story. All right. Um, we'll read it someplace else. What is this? But I told you, man, look, when this whole thing went down, I said they're going to come for all those people and they don't like Trump. They're going to come for all the people who support Trump. Those people are easily got. This is just ridiculous. He's obviously, and the thing about him, he was, we call them CIs, a confidential informant. The cops call them CIs, confidential informant for the feds. And here's the thing about that. That means he's ratting you out or having you do shit that's illegal, or hindering your group because the government doesn't want it to move. Right? He's your leader. So then, after it comes out that that's what he is, they don't change their leader. it's like it's like if George Washington found out that Benedict Arnold was a spy and was like, yeah, okay, it doesn't matter. So listen, here's the plans to beat the British. But like it's like no one even said anything. It's so goofy to me. I don't understand why the men of that organization still follow him you know what I mean? Um, Pride Book leader, if you go sentence of 5 months in prison for burning Black Lives Matter banner. 70 years, January, July, 10 hours ago, probably Memorial plan to seize several U.S. Ooh. Seize several U.S. government buildings around the U.S. Capitol January 6th. Look, listen, you are not seizing a government building in this country. This is not a like a college, like campus where you raid the dean's office and you have a sit-in. That doesn't happen off of a campus, um, because it's just hostage taking, and a SWAT team will descend on you. Right? What is their issue? Take what? A post office for political reasons? You're gonna be met with the. It don't. It doesn't even make any sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense to me. Was it June? Probably banned from Washington D.C. ahead of Donald Trump election protest. Okay, he was banned from what? Then they all run around with this war gear on, these helmets with this. Who are they going to shoot at? They say they love the cops, but they're the only ones showing up like this. Yeah, it's complete fuckery. I don't understand it. I wonder how much time he's gonna get. Let's see how much time is he facing. Ban. I cannot. First of all, I can't believe that there's only like four news stories about it. About it. I'm really just. It's really sort of amazing. And like I said, they're gonna go. So he's one of Donald Trump's guys. What's that guy who has the weird sex parties with his wife? Uh, uh, him and his wife and the third party guys. He was a big Trump guy, and then they indicted him, and then Trump gave him a pardon. Then after Trump left off, they re-indicted him. I forgot his name. Uh, you know, the immorality of the people is ridiculous. Los Angeles made 3.84 million to settle a federal lawsuit filed by relatives of a man who went into cardiac arrest and died, following a struggle with sheriff deputies who responded to a call that the man had threatened to kill his mother and sister. And this is what happens, right? These mothers call the cops on their sons who are like, moms are like 70, 60, 70, and the sons are like 30. And you can't arrest them, you can't do anything, you won't listen to reason. So now you got to call the cops, and your son ends up dead. right? My whole position is good Lord, it did not have to happen. Um, I've got to tell you, I've done a ton of those. Showed up to the whole thing, and the person who called the police on their kids was the parent. Now, when we didn't arrest them, I would give them a lecture. Like, do you really want to be calling the cops in this day and age on your black children, your Latino children? Do you really want to be doing that? Sometimes, whatever. Yeah, that mind your business. That kind of, I got a lot of that. And I was like, ah, I see why I'm here. But other people just had a one and done with the cops and their kids. But it's you you can't be too hateful of them. That you raised them. So if you are disapproving of it, you are disapproving of how you raise this person. That's it. It's no one else's fault. So if you have to call the cops on your kid, you should also just smack yourself in the face. Um, the very idea of my mother having to call the cops on any one of her boys is ridiculous. Cause I go, I talk back to my mother as I'm doing what she told me to do. It's ridiculous. I don't see why I even have to do. And here I am doing it. She raised us right, right? Had my own mind. I curse, I drink, I smoke. But around her, didn't do any of that. She knew I smoked. That's back when I smoked cigarettes. I wouldn't smoke around her. I wouldn't curse. I still don't curse around her. Right? Don't curse on my dad. This is parenting. I'm mentioning my mom, but I don't curse on my mom or my dad. Right? A drink, but I don't get drunk around them. I'll have a beer around them. Right? Watch my language. Watch my tone. I'm an adult, but I'm respectful. I will disagree, but only so much. And if she tells me to do something, I will go do it. I like my mom. My mom is cool. Uh, yeah. So, I mean, the idea of that is all these years later, I still like my mom. One of my great loves, right? Isn't your mom supposed to be your boy's first introduction of what a lady should be, right? One of your permanent and forever loves, and and vice versa for dads and their daughters, right? He should be your prime example of what a guy that you should favor should be, right? Um, in the age of broken homes, I don't think anybody does that anymore. But the idea, back to the story, the idea that you have to call the police on someone you raised from birth, to me is like you fucked up somewhere. Where was it? Right? Not everybody's got a mental issue or a condition or just crazy, right? Some people aren't doing the work. And it's that simple. So they shocked this guy with a taser and killed him. Let's see this guy. Look at this guy. He looks so young. And that's what happens. You're like, stop, 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 and they're still saving you. Like, you give up, don't hit me, and they're still hitting you, right? All this extra evil shit that they get away with. They killed this guy. Let's put this up. Hey, thank you, William. I appreciate it. Let's put this up. And I've always said, look, this is the thing. If you allow it, and you allowed it. And I'm not saying you as in you did, but essentially the system allowed it because it's good for those black people and we're in the Mexicans and all the other money and we're the fun. And why do we care? It's not us. And like I say, it will run off the out of the spill out of the pot you have it off, run off across the table, and I'm having issues. It's been a while since that's happened to us. I was wondering what happened. Yeah, so this gentleman, sorry about that. Every now and then my internet sort of kind of like shutters, right? I don't even know what's going on with it. Called up, they say there's no, I mean, it kind of drops off for like 15 seconds. It's a problem. Uh, but look at this guy. The cops killed this guy. Does he look dangerous to anybody? Good lord, I gotta tell you, man. He looked like, you'd buy his CD, and the cops, they did him in. Um, Tasers. He's not the only one. David Word, right? It's sad. I mean, it just look. Once you get, oh, sorry. Once you get to the point where people know there will be consequences for idiot police work, they'll stop doing it, and now there's no consequences over fatal struggle. LA County approves 3.8 million settlement over fatal struggle. But what happens to the cops? Right? They won't let you read it. Whew. Excuse me. Wow. All right. Fine. Let's see. Uh-huh. Wow. Excuse me. Um. Oh, did she survive? I wonder how. Cause I mean, that I was thinking about that today. I was like, how did you? What did we miss? How do you dive into propellers as you're on the boat? Right? He said he jumped in to save her. This is the boat. You won't be able to see. Okay, this is her. If you jump off to get to her, how do you end up under the boat in the propeller? If the boat, if she fell off the boat and the boat is running, and the boat is away from you, why was the boat backing up? It's supposed to be a fishing trip. Like this ridiculousness would make more sense if it was a pleasure cruise in idiotry. It was a fishing trip. The boat, the oh boy, man, I don't even know. This story sounds so squirrely to me. If you're on a fishing trip, the boat shouldn't be moving. That's when you're walking around and you could fall off. And if the boat's not moving, the engine's not running, and you fall in and someone hops in to get you, I get that. If the boat is moving, and it was a pretty big ass boat, if the boat is moving, you're not fishing on it. You're not, you know what I mean? Uh, the boats are always stationary, but if the boat is moving and she fell off the boat, you still should not fall into the propellers. And if the boat is backing up for some wild ass reason and she falls off and you jump in where she is, how come she's not hit with the propellers? This whole thing is oh man, my brain is just all right. We're gonna look that up. Billionaire son killed. Oh man, I gotta go blow my honker now after these sneezes. And look at this one. Billionaire's child killed in horrific accident. Yeah, I guess he's a billionaire's child. But this makes it sound like he's 8. Billionaire banker's son 31 killed instantly by boat propeller after he jumped off. So son 31, but that's not what this says. This says billionaire's child killed. Son killed by boat propeller. Was trying to save his girlfriend. Yeah, you said that though. Less than 2 minute read, March 16th, 2020. Oh, 7:05 a.m. Okay, so this is from the future. This is actually Australia, which is 22 hours ahead. 24 hours. Is that even right? I think it's 22 hours ahead. It might 18 hours ahead. It might be 20. God dang it. What time is it? It's it's 7:20. So what I'm saying is, if it's 7:20 here right now, it should be 9:30 in the morning in Australia. I want to say on Wednesday. What's today? Tuesday. On Wednesday morning. What time is it in New South Wales, Australia?
It's 10:19 a.m. in Sydney, Australia.
Okay, plus 15 hours. So 10 a.m. What did I say? 9, 10. Uh, so this is 3 hours ago. So 7:05 a.m., which is tomorrow, their time means our time in the present it is 5, right? 5:20. All right. The son of a Spanish Venezuelan billionaire banker has been killed by a boat propeller after jumping overboard while trying to save his fiancée from there. Let's try this all over again. Warning: the following images. I don't even know what this is. All right. The son of a Spanish Venezuelan billionaire banker has been killed by a boat propeller after jumping overboard while trying to save his fiancée from drowning. Juan Carlos Escotet Alvarez, 31, died while trying to save his fiancée who had fallen from an 18-meter vessel 10 kilometers off Key Largo, Florida. 18 meters, a meter is 3 feet. 18 meters, 18 times 3 is 18, and 18 is 36, and 10 is 46, and 8 is 52. Did we do this yesterday? 46, 54. God dang it. How many feet is 18 meters?
The answer is 59.06 feet.
What did I say? 54? Close enough. 10 kilometers off Key Largo, Florida, which is about 7 miles. He was the youngest son of Banesco founder Juan Carlos. He was the son of the founder, who is worth 3.5 billion US, 4.8 billion Australian. The tragedy happened as Escote Alvarez and fiancé Andrea Montero, 30, was competing as anglers in a tournament. They were competing as fishermen, essentially, in a tournament organized by the Ocean Reef Club. See, here he is. He's a fisher, and then he's a fisher. See? Why was the boat moving? Why did she fall over? But Mexico has branches all over the world, including in Venezuela, Panama, the U.S., the U.K., and France. The bank bought Spain's Abanca in 2013 for U.S. 1.3 billion. Start a fucking bank. I mean, the fuckery with the legal stealing. All right. There was a crew. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Why would a billionaire be on a boat by him? They don't. They like a captain and a couple of people to pop the champagne and serve them and bring them shit, right? They're not driving that boat. I'm sure some of them can, right? And it's their boat. So I'm sure if they were like, "Hey, let me drive out here where I can't hit shit in the middle of the ocean," the guys would be like, "Yeah, fine, sir, take the wheel." But I think generally they buy the $500 million yacht and then they staff it, and now it's just more people who handle your shit. It's like the pilots. They get these giant planes and then they need to fly a pilot. Donald Trump doesn't fly his own plane, that kind of thing. Um, which I heard had an emergency landing, and I was like, I can't believe they allowed him to fly that thing. As a sitting president, you have to fly Air Force One. As a retired president, you can fly whatever the fuck you were flying before. And that's that Trump Force One thing he was flying around in. I don't know, man. I don't even know. I will say this: all his cabinet secretaries have come out to denounce him, and I'm sitting here like, that is the biggest damning of you, that all these people have, or your biggest salvation, right? All these people that you put in your cabinet, as soon as they're out of your cabinet, they dirty mouth you, quite frankly. You should have been a better judge of character, or it just shows that you tried to work from the inside and you couldn't because these people are all inside operators, and from they tanked my campaign or my presidency from within, right? But yeah, I just think that they don't want any more Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is goofy AF, and he'll get elected. He absolutely will get elected again, and they'll be mad. I think they're also trying to remind you you have Hillary Clinton as an option. I'm just saying. Yeah, a lot of people aren't saying shit. India hasn't said anything about this, and they should. They're supposed to be the world's largest democracy, but man, India is uh, hanging on by a thread, baby. I really do think it. They want you to take all these Ukrainians. The Senate just voted to make daylight saving time permanent. I thought daylight saving time, isn't this what? What do you mean permanent? I thought people didn't like it, so they were going to stop doing it. And I thought that's what we do. We do daylight savings time. So since it this sentence is weird. The Senate just voted to make daylight saving times permanent. Good. All right. So if it's we do it every year, so it is here. So are we going to change permanently every year, or are they saying? I'm not even going to get into it. Maybe this is just plain English, and I don't know how to read. All right, let's click on this for a second. It happened on Tuesday. The U.S. Senate voted unanimously to make daylight savings time permanent, beginning in 2023. Perhaps the unambiguous results were influenced by the fact that most of us turned the clocks forward on Sunday, and the disruption of it still is on the lawmakers' mind. While in recent years, while in recent years, various states have passed pieces of legislation that would extend daylight saving time hours. This vote by U.S. Senate is the biggest move yet. So they're saying we're gonna 2023. This fall we're gonna fall back, and then next year we're gonna spring ahead like spring, and then we're never going to do it again. We're going to that new time up to is where they're going to keep it. So then that to 2023, when fall comes, we won't do anything with the clocks. That's what I think they're saying. I think that's does that make sense? That's what I think is. Oh, good lord, let me raise this syrup. That's what I think is going on here. The benefits of extending daylight saving time all year, or just keeping standard time all year, are more widespread than avoiding the hassles of resetting the clocks. Even if many timepieces these days do this automatically. So it's daylight saving time versus standard time. So standard time is, excuse me. So standard time is one of those spring ahead fallback times, and then daylight saving time is when we augment it. So I'm leaning to believe the regular time is the springtime when we. Okay, hold on. I heard that we got this spring ahead fallback business. So in the spring, it got it got lighter earlier, right? So you could start work earlier, spring ahead. So you push your clock ahead because it got light earlier. So you didn't have to wait an hour to start working, right? And you pushed it back because in the winter, in the fall, it got dark earlier. So to get some light, you pushed the clock back so you had extra hour of light. This is this is as I remember it. Something weird just hold on. Wait. Hold on. Hold it. Okay. No, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I will say this though. This picture, I'm gonna have to really set this whole thing up, but so I have to stop showing you images like this on my phone. This picture is beautiful. Uh, I know. The whole thing is just a scrap together mess. I would like to put my feet up for sweet Jesus sakes. All right, so let's bring this over a little closer and turn it up. So yeah, and then there's this guy, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, who killed that guy who was critical, who locked up all those, who just essentially consolidated power. Now he's going to be there for the next 60 years, being a horrible person. Fox News photographer killed. Ukrainian reporter with them killed, and their reporter injured. Wow. Yeah. I think they're targeting. Look, they're going to find these Western people and target them. Why? I mean, why'd you let the Russians even into our system for money? That's why. Greed. There shouldn't be a withdrawal, right? Like, oh my God, they love America so much. All our internet and cell phones and straight debauchery that the people will rebel against them and side with us. And it never works. You think they're gonna run on Putin? It didn't work. It didn't work for Saddam Hussein when you said that. Greed is liberated shit, spending all this money in all this place. Didn't work for China. They didn't become more that we gave them all this money. They're still assholes. I'm telling you, our government politicians as tacticians are shitty. As con men, Mwah. Always managed to get a check. Never managed to take any of the blame. Sex traps can lure thousands of male giant hornets to their death, study finds. Yeah, that sounds about right. I've seen that happen. My goodness gracious. All right, let's look up this Fox News reporter. I'm telling you, man, I really do think that they're targeting people. But why wouldn't you? It's war. Fox News cameraman is killed in Ukraine. Fox News cameraman Pierre Zakharuski killed in the Ukraine. Veteran cameraman and Ukrainian journalist. Fox News Pierre Zarkowski and Alexandra Kushkinova killed. Okay, so that's not good. AP, let's read the AP on this thing. This image released by Fox News Channel shows cameraman Pierre Zakharuski while on assignment with colleagues. Fox News correspondent Steve Harrigan and Jerusalem-based senior producer Yonette Frilling, background right, in Kiev. Zarkowski was killed in Ukraine on Monday, March 14, 2022, when the vehicle he was traveling in was struck by incoming fire. Zarkowski was a veteran war photographer who had covered conflicts in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Archivo. Brent Renaud assist un. Why is that in freaking. Okay. Um, a veteran videographer and 24-year-old Ukrainian journalist working for Fox News were both killed when their vehicle came under fire outside of Kiev, the network said on Tuesday. Pierre Zarkowski, 55, and Alexandra Sasha Kushkinova were traveling Monday. And how come he gets an age and she doesn't? Uh, well, you mentioned it up here, but you should have re-mentioned over here for continuity's sake. Pierre Zarkowski, 55, and Alexandra Sasha Kushkinova, 24, were traveling Monday in Horank with Fox News reporter Benjamin Hall, who remained hospitalized. Today is heartbreaking for Fox News and for all the journalists risking their lives to deliver the news, the network CEO Susan Scott said in a staff memo. On Sunday, documentary filmmaker Brent Renaud Brent Renaud, another veteran of covering war zones, died when Russian forces opened fire on his vehicle in Irpin, also outside of Kiev. The death of three journalists in a short span underscores the danger faced by people chronicling the war, even with the extensive experience reporting from conflict zones. Zarkowski was an Irish. Zarkowski was an Irish citizen who was based in London and covering conflicts in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria for Fox, and won an internal unsung hero award for playing a key role last year in getting Fox's freelancers and their families out of Afghanistan after the U.S. withdrawal. So the company gave him a medal, and he went back in. After U.S. withdrawal, he had been working in Ukraine since February. Okay. Such a fine man, tweeted Fox News correspondent Jennifer Grainer. Yeah, I don't need to read any more of this. Um, it's sad. It doesn't make any sense. Uh, do we get all the people? This is not them. Wow, look, listen. In the old days of this, all the players would have their pictures in the paper. This is, I mean, the modern newspaper I, you guys are slipping, slipping. All right. Excuse me. All right. So I'm sort of thirsty. I'm sort of thirsty. This should not be this hard. I want something cold. Let's get something cold. I'll be right back. Oh, I forgot I had this. Normally, I don't mess with lemonade. Certified organic lemonade. Let's see what we got here. There's always some schmutz line at the bottom you gotta deal with. That's the most mundane shit. All right. It's cold though. Excuse me. Oh, and the Russians are bringing the American um, astronauts back from the what is that? The space shuttle? Not no. What is that? The space station. So I mean, I think Castro has ridiculously overstepped. The Freedom Convoy Bitcoin donations have been frozen and seized. Why? And you're not hearing about these trucks that went around DC. Shouldn't you be hearing about them? Right, covering all the news, but now all of a sudden they're not covering that. They're not really covering all the news. I'm just saying. So, do we even want to look up what happened with the convoy? I don't really even care what happened with the convoy. Um, one, $6 gas, right? And you're out there in your giant truck, idling in DC. And I told you they weren't going to shut DC down. They weren't going to allow it, and they didn't. It one is not on TV. But if they yeah, so Russian central bank halts purchases of gold from banks to meet household demand. I don't even know what that means. You stop buying gold from banks to meet household demands? That's got to be some swanky ass, super rich economist stuff. VR headsets are headed to your car's back seat. That makes sense. You're not driving, right? That's not awesome. This really isn't. I'm really sort of Netflix stock outperforms market on strong trading day. Netflix is straight murdering it. Every time you hear that, it is the end of Netflix. It isn't. I like Netflix. Netflix is pretty decent. Jordan's King Abdullah says the Ukraine should not derail Mideast peace. He had to. He had. What the fuck does Ukraine have to do at Mideast peace? Right. So in order to keep his name in the paper, King Abdullah just mentions something on and then refers to what he wants. Right. So if this was the Super Bowl, King Abdullah says the Super Bowl is very good, but you can't forget about Mideast peace. Right. Did you bake a cake? The King Abdullah says your cake is fine, but you can't forget about Mideast peace. It's like it's another guy who's educated here, got his country from his father, educated here. Wife is American. So is Bashir al-Assad's wife, American. Now you're the queen of people. What? That's so ridiculous. Did they trade Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins was quote unquote confident he was going to remain with the Vikings. Huh, I don't even know. All right, I'm not even going to get into that. We're not gonna. Oh, not even gonna get into that either. We're not gonna cover sports. Um, because then we'll go down a rabbit hole. All right, so I think that's it. I think like this is one of those days. Sometimes there's nothing to talk about, right? Because what everyone is talking about, we covered to death. Uh, and everybody's talking about the Ukraine, and we covered it to death. We covered it uh, early in, and what I thought was going to happen, and why I thought was a bad idea, and why I thought you're going to see this again. Here's my thing. Even if this whole thing stops and Russia begins pulling its troops out tomorrow, what are the long term ramifications of this thing? You're just going to let Russia back in the system like bygones? Back into the banks, back into the. Russia has killed several journalists, poisoned several people outside in England primarily, but several people outside of his countries who disagree with them, killed them dead. How you letting this go? You let the guy who killed Khashoggi, the prince of Saudi Arabia, you let him slide. I mean, what do we fucking stand for here? I'd like to remind you though that Trump did say that NATO was a joke, and you guys are gonna get knocked over. You don't even pay your debts. You all suck. They were like, oh man, he's really in. But now look at NATO. NATO was a joke. They can't get their shit together. So they decided to help with the war for the first time in its history. It's marching troops to man. This is how shit gets started. Uh, NATO, North American. What does NATO stand for? North Atlantic Treaty Organization? NATO stand for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. All right. Man, what is wrong with me? I knew that and I didn't think I knew that. I'm getting old, boys and girls. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. What did I say? Trade? No, not trade. I said treaty. Trade implies business. Um, treaty implies warfare. Uh, Here's the thing about NATO. NATO essentially runs on the American model of military ship. So they all have their own private armies, but when they join NATO, they do it the American way. NATO is a very the American way kind of system because the Americans set it up after World War II. Uh, North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and several Western European nations to provide collective security against the Soviet Union. That's what they're there for. They're a bulwark against the giant ass Soviet Union, which is a giant country, right? Look how big France is. Look how big. I mean, Russia is 10 times bigger than France. It's easily 20 times bigger than England. It's bigger than Germany by 10 times, 15 times. So yeah, they need to watch themselves because 140 million Russian troops versus your not 140 million, uh, 4 million Russian troops and their 140 million population. Where if you were able to wipe out their troops, they can replenish them because they're 140 million people, and you may have 4 million troops as well, but your population is 30 million. So losing, and just replenishing them. So now your population of 30 million is down to 26 million, right? You're fighting the Russians, then you recruit more troops, you train them up. I mean, you're not gonna be able to train and deploy them just like that, right? But let's say you get four more. Now your 26 million is down to 22 million, whereas his 140 is still well above 100. So these are the things, right? And they were like, well, we all need to throw in, make a giant, essentially, it's a continental army against the fucking ridiculousness of the Russians. And it makes sense because the Russians are absolutely arrogant and stupid. Um, the idea that they're going to tell people that whether you can join Russia or not, or Russia can join NATO or not, is why you should be fighting them. But I told you he's going to take this deal. Why wouldn't he? This kicks the problem down the road to the next prime minister. All right. I guess that's it for me. I'm a little groggy. You want to go 10 minutes, make it an even 8 o'clock. Even as I showed up late to the set, whoo, this one's gonna be an hour. Will let's see. If we do 10 minutes, it'll be a clean hour. And if we do 10 minutes, then we might as well do the 15 after that, which makes it a full show. So let's just stop crying and do the full show. But the problem is, I've run out of material. Even as I'm trying to think about what's gonna happen, what was I gonna say? That what did I tell you guys? It shot right out of my head that fast. Here's a problem. Be careful about the imagery that you see from this war, because it looks like they're they're trying to sell you the American public on a bad idea. So I saw a poll that was like, "Hey, do you think there should be a no-fly zone over Ukraine?" And like 70% of America was like, "Yeah." And then they asked the same question, "Hey, do you think there should be a no-fly zone of Ukraine if that means escalating the war?" And 70% of people were like, "No, don't do that. That's ridiculous." And the numbers revert. Ooh, that's it's pretty mediocre lemonade. So the numbers reverse. What does this tell you? I think most people will go with, sad to say, people that they like to view on TV telling them nonsense because they feel like they know that and can trust that person because that's the illusion of TV. Feel so bad. Look at how these young people, anti-gun squad. I was part of the anti-gun squad. It's not named the anti-gun squad. I wonder what they called it. Uh, do I even want to look up cop shit? Not really. All right, let's look up anti-crime NYPD rolls out new version of anti-gun unit with violent pass. Hey, that's my old unit. New first wave of NYPD new anti-gun units hits the street. Yeah, this is not hard. You have to go. But see, oh my God! Look, the problem with those squads where you let the cops be violent and ridiculous. Tone that shit down. You could have kept the gun squad. You decided not to, in a way to sort of teach the people a lesson because we're cops and we got guns and we'll be safe. Now, you're not helping anybody out with your bullshit. The problem has always been to get rid of these idiot and arrogant cops. That's it. I worked with Sean Carrington. He got killed. Street crime, baby. We own the night. That's what the motto used to be. All right, that's it for me. I'm done. I can't even right now. Good Lord, it's been 21 years. I'm exhausted. I just want to go to bed. Uh, I've got a hat issue. Not only my cold. I mean, I love this hat, but it's like it's paper thin, and which is why it's great to wear because it doesn't hold heat. But also, it's just sort of. It's not really. It feels fragile and yeah. I don't know. This hat is just. And if I do, yeah. Can I even? It's it's weird because I feel like it should be less of it once you put it on. And then you've got this big bucket, and if you pull it all the way down like you want to, yeah, it's just it's so much room at the top of this hat. Oh my god, I don't even know. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, uh, I'm just gonna be crazy in the other room. I tried to watch something on Netflix a couple of days ago, and it was the Deadpool actor, uh Ryan Reynolds, right? I think it's Ryan Reynolds. Um, couldn't even get through like the first 20 minutes of it. There's definitely a seed change going on in my whole deal. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, cups and glasses. I will see you in the next one. Um, watch yourself out here. I mean, it's hard out here for a pimp. Uh, don't go fighting anybody's wars. Fight your own, and know who you're fighting for and with. Because I gotta tell you, excuse me, the American media is squiffy with reporting stuff. Really, really squiffy. Uh, I saw one thing where a guy left. He thought they were sending him on a suicide mission, so he went back to Britain. I was like, you went home. Uh, I'm surprised they let him go home. But again, we're not ISIS. We're not just going to put a bullet in you, uh, because we're the Ukrainians. I don't know why. Anyway, but yeah, they've stuck him back through the route that he got there in. And then I thought about it. I was like, Ukraine has some serious authoritarian issues too, right? It's not like it's some mild mannered country in the Slavic Iron Bloc, right? They're I'm about to say just as Russian as but not Russian. They're just as Eastern European culturally as the people around them. They're not, and people keep trying to act like, oh nah, we all get along and everybody's very British or French or And mind you, the Germans weren't the Germans until we fucking had to handle the Germans, um, and that was 80 years ago and counting. So I don't know what people thought was gonna happen. I really don't. Uh, I mean, they're sort of a gruff people, and I don't know if we should be arming them, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I mean, it would have been interesting to see people do this in other places that weren't all white Europe. Uh, and also, like I said before, the idea that you're getting an insurgency happening in the middle of Europe does not bode well for the rest of Europe, right? After these guys get good training in fighting and killing, they're gonna come back home to wherever you are, and They don't have to like wait for a boat to get them across John. But they can actually walk it. I mean, remember, I mean, very small rivers, true, but it is one giant landmass, and you could literally walk from one end of it to another. Yep, that is it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for me. I will see you in the next one. Next one is tomorrow. Mwah. Take care of yourself. Uh, hey Bernie. Hi and bye. Uh, yeah. Um. All right, that's it. I was thinking about $5 gas. It was $6 for a minute, like this week, and today I filled up. Normally, what I do is I drive it like I stole it, and every time I go put gas in, and I tap off the tank. Uh, Today I didn't tap off the tank. It's 3/4 full. It was halfway to like the last segment of my tank. It was halfway there, and then I just kind of like was like, oh, well, all about round again. Let's. Then I realized, oh right, how much is this gonna cost me? And 3/4 of the tank, and then I just kept it moving. But I was just sitting here thinking, should I tap this whole thing off? But no, I don't even think about it. I just do it. I could have just done it today, but I just think I was so weird, so not weirded out, but like in the mind of what is that? Oh, in the mind of where is this? Of what's been said around here about gas prices and everything. And normally I don't really kind of like sweat the gas prices because it's like $2 3. But now I'm like maybe I should pay a little more attention because in the 70s there was gas issues, and then I thought they spent 30 years getting us off of gas and into nuclear power and coal, yeah, coal, and all these other things. So our gasoline footprint, as well as hoarding gas here in the country, so that it's six, but it is going down in 4 days. It was six, and now it's. What did I pay today? Where's that? Did I throw that away? I think I threw it away. Um, I did throw it away. I think it was 4.99. It was like $5 a gallon. Um, yeah. So it dropped like $1.50. Uh, and mind you, this is summer. People are going to want a $2.30 liter. Really? What does gas cost in Australia? Yeah, I think everything. Look, with the idea that everything is more expensive because the pandemic made uh less the the quantity of things are less because less of them are getting into the country. Uh, it seems like the only people who are making any money in this pandemic are the people who are always making the money, right? They pass along all these prices to the consumer. The prices went down and they never lowered the prices. And now gas is just the latest. So, I mean, I just think a lot of people are so friggin' angry. Um, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And now everybody's is you need another distraction, so that distraction is going to be this war in the Ukraine. Um, and everybody's gonna rah you this like it's your fight, and oh these noble people, and you don't know anything about the history or what the politics going on there. And if you land there, if you will be welcome or treated with respect. I saw one picture of a guy, black guy, full up militaried out, taking selfies with these Ukrainian women because he went over there. And the first thing I thought of was Bakari. I want to say his last name is Sellers, who was killed in Greece for taking a white Grecian lady came up and asked him, "Hey, can I take a selfie with you?" He was like, "Sure." And she came in with her phone, took the picture, and he went back to, and then that kicked off this whole thing about white guys not liking uh, this white lady taking a picture with this black guy, and they killed him in this bar. One versus 30, well, more like 1 versus 15. But like from the moment of that selfie to the end of his life was about 90 seconds, and there's video of it, so you can go look it up. But do I want to make the name? But yeah, and I'm just kind of like, why are you over there? They have all kind of neo-Nazi issues. Why are you over there? Yeah, Bakari. Is it Bakari Solis? Am I thinking the right name? No, I'm not. Uh, no. Oh, right. So I know the name, but that guy is a different guy. And isn't he dying of something? No. Anyway, Bakari. If I type Bakari and Greece, it'd come up. But anyway, that's not what we're doing here. Here he is, Henderson. Bakari Henderson. Gail King is so full of shit. And this is the kind of thing. So you're like, this is your fight. I wish you well in it. But at the same time, I gotta watch my P's and Q's and who I'm around. The Ukrainian situation doesn't help, not at all, right? I think the Ukrainian situation just came out of the blue. Look, all this stuff, I'm still associating with my crazy 2020 pandemic, right? I mean, it started off crazy and it didn't let up, and it's still crazy. From the Afghan exit to how this whole war started almost 14 days ago, almost overnight on a whim, how the first 10 days have been kind of like, I guess we're gonna invade, kind of like attitude. Um, and like we said on this channel, like on this pod, man, some of that stuff is comical and ridiculous, and other of that stuff is just, ugh, like bombing the hospital with the pregnant ladies and the newborns. I was like, ugh. There's a new thing going on where a bomb, people walking down the street and a bomb falls out the sky and hits the bus. There's people on the bus. There's people standing at the bus stop. There's people in all manner just going about life. There's another one where one blows up and there's a guy in a doorway and he just falls down and his leg is mangled because something hit his leg. And another person falls in the door like this. So whatever hit, and it's all this security camera footage of just people being taken out randomly with someone's, I'm about to say GoPro, someone's uh, ring door cam running, or the CCTV of just filming the city catches it. And you see him going, this is just, it's so, and it's just more of this, right? Another weird one, the Bob Saget death was a weird one. I was like, how do you crush the back of your head open? No one knows it. No, what happened? So all these weird kind of like this billionaire jumping into the pool. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. How that happened? So this is all my fever dream of 2020 COVID still going on. Um, there's been other weird stuff since 2020. What is this? A second year? Uh, Little girl had her arm amputated to have been shot at. She was 9. Yeah, war zone bullshit. The one that got me was the mother who had to wait with her own mom, and her husband was out of the country. So when she got a chance to leave, her 9-year-old daughter, her 19-year-old son, her, I think she was 35, and a neighbor, a male neighbor, decide to all leave together. Um, and props to him. He died there too, but props to him because he could have just left, and he took three other souls with him. And I tell people all the time, in a comfortable society like this, you are arrogant about like the average what the average guy will do. Not every guy would do it, but like if something went bad and you had to get out of town, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know. Uh, a lot of people that they'd be. A lot of people know. A lot of people that they'd be super concerned about and needing to go back for and get out somehow, right? And a lot of people will take those people and then some. So this guy, he could have moved faster without a woman and two kids, right? You move fast alone is the thing. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to, what is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? So that's it. Um, and they were just the missile fell out the sky by them and killed them like 50 feet away. There's all kind of this, right? These things are hitting the ground at someone, like some pops off. One guy's trying to like hide behind something, not hide behind, but like run behind something, and then one landed where he was running to and hit him. And I was just kind of like, what the? What are you? It falls out the sky all around you. The only thing you can do is hit the ground and cover your head. You can't be standing up. It might help if there is something near you like a tree, right? Or a car, but you still have to get flat prone on the ground. I mean, rockets into buildings. I get military bases, but rockets into apartment complexes. How is he coming back from that? But then again, Bashir al-Assad is still in power. Still in power. Is the Syrian war still going on? It's been a minute. Syrian civil war. Bashir al-Assad. Is that thing still happening? Oof. Oh my God, is this thing still going on? The 15th of March 2011 to present, 11 years. This thing is still rocking and rolling. It is one of the only conflicts in the world that America is not part of. Sweet Jesus. All right, hold on. Let me make sure. Oh, good Lord. Who are the combatants in this dang thing? And they have an army of Ba'athists and, yeah. Ugh, all right. Hezbollah. Casualties and losses. Syrian Arab Army. Good Lord. 103 soldiers. 103,000 soldiers. Russian soldiers. 160. 284. Other non-Syrians. 8,000. Syrian opposition. Turkey. 300. Islamic State, 40,000 Islamic State fighters. I thought they said there was only a handful of those fuckers. 40,000 of them were killed. So if you can kill 40,000 of them, God only knows how many are on the battlefield. CJTFOIR, 13 killed. 13 Americans, 10 Britons, one Frenchman, and one. Hold it. They all, they all have the same stupid fucking flag. That's the problem. Jordan. All right. So, we're over here. Commanders and leaders. Stephen J. Towns killed. Stephen J. Towns is United States Army four-star general who serves. Why did this say killed? Is the commander. Why does this say killed? Oh, is this who they killed? Who they're responsible for taking off the battlefield? Commander and leaders. Who did that? Who does this show they killed? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right. Wow, that's interesting. Um, it shows us who the Americans killed and who the British killed. That's interesting. I guess we're part of this war. Location Syria with spillover in neighboring countries. Status ongoing. Territory as of March 31, 2020, certain armed forces held 63.57% of Syrian territories. The Syrian Defense Force, 25% a rebel group. Turkey jumped into this thing and took 9% for itself, and the Islamic State owns 1%. Were just the worst. I mean, good lord, we were bombing the ever loving fuck out of them, and they just would not stop showing up to die there. And this is what happens. I'm gonna go. They believe I'm gonna go see God. Okay, we're gonna send you there, right? They got nothing else going on in these places. They're not allowed to talk to ladies, right? So what else do you have other than wild fervor for religion? Don't have rise of the United. Oh, excuse me. You don't have girls or movies or iPhones or any of these other distractions. Xboxes. Nobody runs marathon or jogs. Right. Workout gyms. Right. It's go to church and then play with the desert. Right. It's pretty freaking pathetic. So yeah. So the Syrian conflict is still going on. Lord. All right, I guess that's it for me. We actually did a full show. It's 8:15. I'm sorry I was here late. I am sort of getting my head back together. Uh, I would. I got a lot to do. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will see you in the next one. Next one's tomorrow. Tomorrow I will not be late. Tomorrow is Wednesday, Hump Day. I could use some Hump Day. Remember those Hump Days? Hump Day. We'd all get together and we do the Hump Day dance. Grandma would make Hump Day pie. The children would sing Hump Day carols. Oh, Hump Day. Huzzah! Anyway, I will see you in the next one. Next one's tomorrow, 6:30. 6:30s. 6:30. The one 6:30. 6:30. Please like and subscribe. And come on back for some more ridiculousness. If this is your flavor of ridiculous. All right. That's it. Let's close this all down. And we'll start with this. Bop, 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 bop. I got to tell you, man. Um, this Syrian conflict has sucked up all the oxygen in the room. They're not talking about a lot of other things. Here's another thing I was thinking about side loosely. I don't follow famous people, but this Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, uh, Pete Davidson thing is how you get killed. It really is. Look, uh, people can be feel sad and bad and shit has broken up, but don't drag people through the mud publicly. Let that shit go. You know what I mean? I mean, what are you doing? Why is this how you're handling it publicly? So when somebody just snaps and everybody says he's crazy and he's kind of so if you think he's mentally unstable and he's got all these issues, why are you feeding into that? Because you talk about mental health and all that other bullshit, but you don't really care about it. Don't really care about it. Not you. I'm saying the media. It's all ridiculous. And I'm saying she's just not his girlfriend. He won't stop seeing, right? Like got like 4 kids together, and I mean it's a little more complicated than Rand. And I'm of the personal mindset that you whine into that, you get what you get. Um, it is what it is, man. I'm a fan of Kanye. I like his music. But again, like I said, if we all say that somebody's crazy, why are we baiting them to do some crazy thing so you can put it on your media outlet, right? Oh, Kanye flipped out and did this, right? It's like you dare my Jay to do something, Kanye. Do it while you have a camera on them. Then, oh my God, we are shocked. Look at all the mean things, right? And he's saying mean things now. So I don't know, man. The whole environment is ridiculous with the American media, and how these platforms have been an in run around your right to just go, what is going on here? As they keep putting up insincere and BS people for you to occupy your time with. What if I don't like any of those people? What if I have sympathy for the least likely of the people that you think I should have sympathy for? What happens then? Right? All right. Uh, Stay woke, boys and girls. I'll see you in the next one. Next one, 6:30 tomorrow.